Union Cabinet, Srimati Darshana Ben Jandosh. Incidentally, while she does represent Surat as a member of parliament, she also comes from a tailor's family, Darji. Her surname is actually reflecting she's from the Darji community. And I'm indeed delighted that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has chosen her to be a part of the textile industry. And she truly understands all the minor significant details of this industry better than any of us. So I'm proud to have her as my colleague. My dear sister is really bringing in a lot of value to the industry. My good friend Thiru R. Gandhi, who not only is the Minister for Handlooms and Textiles from the government of Tamil Nadu, but is also somebody who's always smiling. And that positivity that he brings also encourages better outcomes, better results. Of course, you may land up thinking that this is a mutual admiration society. But truly, it's been a pleasure working with Thiru Gandhi. He comes very often with good suggestions, and I hope we can continue to remain friends. And the good part is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has always held the view that governments can keep, politicians can keep jostling and keep having their point of view during elections. But after elections, we must work for the welfare of the people, welfare of business, welfare of the country. And the whole of the government, whether in the center, whether in the states, all have to work collectively in the spirit of cooperative federalism for a better future for all our citizens. And in that same spirit, my other friend, Thiru Sakarapani, who handles food and civil supplies in Tamil Nadu, also somebody with whom I share a very good relationship, whose support I get very often when we are having the food ministers meetings. And I must say that the good part is that the positivity that is generated from friends and colleagues like Gandhiji and Sakarapaniji helps in serving the people of Tamil Nadu even better. Thank you for your cooperation. Our very respected sister, colleague, the President of the Bharatiya Janata Party Mahila Morcha, All India President, and your own local Coimbatore South MLA has always been a source of inspiration. She has worked in Tamil Nadu in very difficult circumstances, building the party brick by brick, and hopefully in the near future, she'll build it to become so big Sri Annamalai has been on the move. Our state president of the Bharatiya Janata Party has spent the last month in a Padyatra reaching out to the people of Tamil Nadu. And I told him, you need not come all the way to Coimbatore, even though I'm coming. But I'm really grateful to him that he took the time, came all the way to Coimbatore to join us today. Thank you, Annamalai ji. Young, very dynamic, comes. You were an IPS officer who has served the people of Tamil Nadu with great distinction. And I'm sure in the future you will continue to serve both Tamil Nadu, the people of Tamil Nadu, and the people of India in even bigger and better responsibilities. I have with me my colleague Shri Rohit Kansalji, the Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Textiles, my colleagues Srimati Prajakta Verma, Srimati Roop Rashi, other colleagues from the ministry who have put in a lot of hard work to really bring the textile industry together. And my biggest satisfaction today in my visit to Coimbatore is to see the entire textile industry sitting. Thank you, Rajkumarji, for bringing the entire value chain on one platform, on one stage. Chairman Seema has put in a lot of effort. And I must thank you, Rajkumarji. The Chairman CITI has put in a lot of effort to make this happen, along with Sri Ravi Sam, Chairman of SEMA, and a big round of applause for both these captains of industry. Sri Rakesh Mehra ji, Vice Chairman of CITI, all my other colleagues who have joined us in today's program, on and off the dais, Sri Premal Udani ji, past Chairman of APC, Padma Shri Sri A. Saktivel ji, President of FIO, another stalwart of the textile sector, somebody who also comes from a police family. Tamil Nadu mein there's something special. But somebody with a great deal of positivity. And I'll share this with you. Last year was a difficult year. Everybody felt exports cannot be sustained after growing from $500 billion to $675 billion in 1 year from 21-22, from 2021 to 22-23. Such a massive growth cannot be sustained. And times were tough. Ukraine conflict was going on. COVID had not yet got over. Everybody was very pessimistic, except one man, Dr. Saktivel. In every meeting, he would speak with positivity. He would say, you don't worry, exports will grow by $100 billion. And I could see that everybody, whenever we had engagements with exporters, export organizations, Export Promotion Council, there was a lot of doubts whether this can happen. But in every meeting, he would consistently say, sir, it will grow by $100 billion. And lo and behold, our exports last year grew from 675 to $776 billion. So only in 2 years, India is a rare bright spot in the global economy, where in only 2 years, despite the COVID pandemic, despite the war conflict in Ukraine, despite recession in large parts of the world in the developed countries, despite high inflation, with all these problems, high interest rates, not only did India come out as the fastest growing large economy, not only did India become the 5th largest economy in terms of size of GDP, not only have we been able to maintain the lowest inflation in the last decade, first time in 75 years we had 9 years of relatively low inflation, but we also grew our exports from $500 billion to 776 in only 2 years. 55% growth. 55% growth in only 2 years. So thank you all the captains of industry, Mr. Vijay Agarwal, Vice Chairman of Textile, Mr. Gopal Krishnan, Chairman of Handloom Export Promotion Council, Mr. Saktivel, Vice President of Pedexil, Mr. Rahul Mehta, Chief Mentor of CMAI, Mr. K.M. Subramaniam, President of Tirupur Exporters Association, really another fantastic organization. What Tirupur has done along with Coimbatore is history. And I remember my last visit to Tirupur. And I must share with you one incident that happened when I went to Tirupur and I heard about the remarkable growth from a very small one unit in that area, Tirupur. Today you are exporting nearly 30,000 crores, 35,000 crores of exports from Tirupur. I think the fastest growing textile hub in the country. But I remember in Tirupur, just like today I was giving my talk, and I think Ravi Singh was here. The gentleman or you came and told me, gave me that slip. One of my colleagues came and gave me a small slip of paper. And on that slip of paper, he had written, this was about a year and a half ago, June last year. He came and gave me a slip of paper that one of the television channels was criticizing me a lot. That same time, while I was at Tirupur. That whole day you have been criticized by one television channel, and on social media they are making fun of you, that how does this minister think that India will become a $30 trillion economy in the next 30 years. And he said, you may like to explain that to the audience. The gentleman is here today also with me. And I saw that slip of paper, and then in Tirupur, for the first time, I had explained how India will go forward and become a $30 trillion economy. I had also given the statistics that from 380 billion in 92, India has become a $3.75 trillion economy in 30 years. While this was a period in which we had very difficult times, we had coalition governments very often having problems within the government, no decisive leadership. We saw the financial crisis, 2007-8 period. We saw many governments come and go, political instability. We had large scandals in which people used to say there was large amount of corruption, and you know that corruption holds back economic growth. But India has an inherent strength. And therefore, when I projected the economy over the next 25, 30 years, whatever mathematics you do, whatever growth rate you may like to consider and take, the India of tomorrow, with 1.4 billion Indians, with 30% of our population only dependent on the 65% which is in the working age. We are one of those rare countries in the world where 2/3 of our population is in the working age. Otherwise, in most other countries, gradually the aging population is leading to only 30% working age people and 2/3 people dependent on them. And this trend is going to grow in the next few years. Whereas for the next 30 years, mark my words, for the next 30 years, India will continue to have a young population whose average age will be less than 30 years. So we have 30 years ahead of us when our average population will be less than 30 years. During this period, our economy will grow from $3.5 trillion to $35 trillion by 2047. When we celebrate 100 years of independence, ladies and gentlemen, India will be a $35 trillion developed nation, prosperous nation, where every family, every home, our middle class population will have all the good things of life in their home. And that will be possible because a strong foundation has been laid over the last 9 years by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. A strong foundation of the economy. Today we have the world's 4th largest foreign exchange reserves. World's 4th largest foreign exchange reserves, which brings strength to our economy. We are the fastest growing large economy. And even if we continue to grow at this pace, while I think we will grow even faster in the years to come, even if we grow at this pace, We will cross $35 trillion when we are celebrating 100 years of independence. We have brought in an era of political stability with an absolute majority government and a decisive leader, Sri Narendra Modi ji, bringing welfare to the people of India, bringing stability to the economy, bringing political stability, and most important, a corruption-free government, the need of the hour. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, when we are assembled here today in Tamil Nadu, I have the courage of conviction to say that in this state, the state that provides nearly 30% of India's total textile output, in fact, in yarn, I'm told 40% comes from Tamil. And look at the significance of 30% today. 30 years, population under 30, adding $30 trillion economy to the national GDP in the next 25-30 years. With Tamil Nadu providing 30% of textile production, I think 30 holds a lot of significance for all of us assembled here today. And therefore, I feel that we will have to be far more ambitious, far more forward-looking, far more self-confident when we set the goals of tomorrow. In fact, I am in the land of Thiruvalluvar. I don't know how many of you in this room recognize and realize that the great Tamil poet, the great Tamil saint who lived more than 2000 years ago, who is revered by 140 crore Indians, whose thoughts, whose sayings, whose visionary thinking, whose words, whose poetry inspires generations and all of us across the length and breadth of India. Saint Thiruvalluvar was also a cotton fabric weaver. Thiruvalluvar wove beautiful fabrics. He also made beautiful saris out of cotton and sold them in the local market. He never got angry. He never used bad words. Never shouted at anyone. I think I could also learn a lesson from Thiruvalluvar. I'll have to stop shouting at both my officials and at the industry. But you will appreciate that I shout only for the good of our industry. I want to get the best out of all of you. I want you to outperform yourself. I want extraordinary performance from our whole team. But Saint Thiruvalluvar was a man of peace. And when I was reading about his book of teachings, Thirukural, it's a greatly loved and respected book even today. I came across a small story from his life. When an arrogant, rich young man wanted to try and make him angry, reduced his beautiful fabric to rags. He tore it apart and made it into a rag just to try and make the saint angry. Even then, he did not lose his temper. In fact, they even refused to take money for that fabric. The rich, arrogant boy tried to show his richness by saying, I am giving you money for that fabric which I have reduced to rags and dust. Saint Thiruvalluvar refused to take money. He said that now this beautiful fabric has been reduced to rags. It is worthless. I will not take money from you. That is the strength of Tamil culture, Tamil teachings, Tamil heritage, Tamil traditions. And that is what makes all of us proud. That Tamil Nadu, the people of Tamil Nadu, the values of Tamil Nadu give us so much to learn, so much which will help us to prosper, to progress. And therefore, when my sister is saying she's come to Coimbatore 6 times, Anamalaiji, you said 2 times, but I've come a 3rd time. Vantiji will remember when I had come to celebrate Shivratri at Isha Foundation, where the Adipurush beautiful sculpture is also there. So for all of us, it is a matter of pride that Tamil Nadu is making rapid strides, and Tamil Nadu has the power to bring the entire industry together. In fact, I would also like to recognize the presence of 2 important people, 2 important stakeholders who are here with us today. We have with us Mr. Kulin Lalbhai, who comes from Gujarat. Very old, famous family. In fact, the family also has connections with Vikram Sarabhai, who was one of the doyens and the pioneers of the space mission of India. And we have all celebrated the successful launch of successful landing of Chandrayaan 3 in the south pole of the moon for the first time in human history. It's a great day on 23rd August for all of us to celebrate, and I'm delighted that we have a member of Vikram Sarabhai's family with us here today. On the 2nd of September, we'll be launching from Sriharikota the mission which will go 15 lakh kilometers from Earth. 15 lakh kilometers away, to study the solar ecosystem also. It won't go to the sun, obviously. It is going to a point in between, 15 lakh kilometers away, from where it will study the sun and give very important information back to India. And I'm sharing all this with you because India is regaining its lost glory. We had all of these in our astronomy, in our astrology, in our good old times. We hear about the rich treasure of knowledge that India had. We are regaining that richness. We are regaining the glory of India. And we are indeed delighted that the textile sector is also not far behind. In fact, Coimbatore is also called the Manchester of the East, of South India. Manchester of South India. I hope the FTA with UK will help us get back that glory, where we will be sending our textiles to the United Kingdom, and where their textiles had come and hurt our farmers, our industry. I don't want to hurt anybody because that is not in the DNA of India. but we'll certainly capture the markets of Europe, markets of UK, and markets in other countries with the wonderful work that all of you are doing. Friends, I would also like to recognize the presence of Mr. Sanjay Jayavardhan Velu of Lakshmi Machine Tools. What they have done in terms of developing indigenous machinery, modern machinery, world-class technologies is a matter of pride for India, matter of pride for Coimbatore, matter of pride for Tamil Nadu, because we cannot afford to remain dependent on foreign countries for high quality machines and machine tools. And in the days and years to come, I'm sure India will become the supplier of high quality machines. They are already exporting, but we should become world leaders in machinery and machine tools, get the best of technologies from anywhere in the world. And I'm hoping that we also do a free trade agreement with EFTA, Switzerland, Norway, Liechtenstein, and Iceland. And Switzerland, Norway, these are countries who have large investment ability and a lot of innovation and a lot of great technical abilities, machine abilities. In fact, a lot of machines that came to India also came from Switzerland in the initial years. I hope we can do collaborations and start making all of that in India so that our textile industry can go to greater heights in the years to come. I must also today express deep satisfaction that SEMA gave me an opportunity to recognize and respect the first Finance Minister of India, Sri Thiru Chanmuganam Chetty, who was the founder of SEMA also, and somebody who makes every Indian proud. The budget he presented in 1948, India's very first budget, was a very powerful document. In fact, in an earlier program, I had read out the last paragraph of his speech, and it is relevant even today when the world is going through very difficult times, when the world is witnessing a war, where the world is seeing recession in large parts of the developed regions, where we have just barely come out of COVID. In difficult times, we have an opportunity to give extraordinary results by converting the crisis into an opportunity. And India has the capability. We Indians have the capability to do it. Thiru Chetty had mentioned that when in that speech, famous speech of 1948, in fact it is there, he had talked about the fact that when you cross one hill or one mountain, you only find that you have many more to conquer, many more to cross. If I can quote from his speech, we feel like the pilgrim who drags his weary limbs finally to the mountain top, only to find higher peaks stretching before his eyes. I think the textile industry today is at that cusp where we have done some really wonderful work, but we cannot rest on our laurels. We have mountains to cross before we feel satisfied. We have lots and lots to do, lots of work. And therefore, the theme of the Asian Textile Conference, the 11th conference, is indeed very appropriate. 2025 and beyond, Asia, a global hub for textile manufacturers and consumers. We in India are the world's largest consumer market. We in India have the potential to become the world's largest textile hub also. And we must persevere. Our entire textile value chain will work together, weaving tradition and innovation, weaving together culture and commerce, bringing together history and modernity, creating fabrics that bind our economies. And together, when all the states, all the people of India, 140 crore Indians, come together as one, come together to fulfill the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi that by 2047, India will become a developed country. Come together to remove the last elements of colonial rule, to change the mindset of the colonial rule to work in a modern world, yet respect our culture, respect our rich heritage, our tradition, our family values, but work in a spirit of togetherness. Unity and integrity of India is paramount. We have to ensure we all work keeping the nation first. India, Bharat has to be the center, the vision of India, the vision of Bharat, the vision of one nation has to be paramount. And when we work with a spirit of duty, when 140 crore Indians make this our duty to make India a developed nation, to take prosperity to every home in the country, when we work with a spirit of inclusive growth and sustainable growth, friends, as the Honorable Prime Minister said, and I quote, India of today doesn't stop, doesn't get tired, and doesn't give up. The world is today seeing the true potential of new India. The G20 summit is a one in a kind. I've attended G20 summits in other countries. What India has presented to the world, as my friend Ravi Sam was saying, is unique. G20 reached every nook and corner of India. Today, 140 crore Indians are celebrating India's presidency of G20 under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Today, the whole country recognizes our growing importance, our growing relevance in the world. World leaders are talking about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's popularity. World leaders are saying Modi is the boss. You heard that? World leaders today are saying Narendra Modi is the most loved leader in the world. Only yesterday, I think, the latest Pew Research survey came out. For 9 years in a row, Mr. Modi has created history by being the most popular leader in the world continuously for 9 years. He must be amongst the only few leaders in the world who has received the highest honors from so many countries around the world. 15 countries around the world, and the most recent was the honor he got in Greece. 15 countries of the world have bestowed high honors on Prime Minister Modi. 5 international organizations, collectively 20 such awards. And what has Prime Minister Modi said? All these awards are dedicated to 140 crore brothers and sisters, his family. He has accepted these awards on behalf of all of us. because he truly looks upon us, 140 crore Indians, as his family, having dedicated his whole life for the service of the nation. And this is the recognition of your abilities, your talent, your skills, your true potential. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our duty not to let down our future generations. We are privileged to be living in these times. We are privileged to have an opportunity to serve our motherland. And therefore, I would like to invite all of us in this room and beyond, every person in Tamil Nadu, every person in the entire nation. Let us all collectively resolve to work with a spirit of duty, to be committed as brothers and sisters do, since we have also assembled on the very auspicious occasion of Raksha Bandhan, where we all respect each other, where we all commit ourselves as brothers and sisters to work as one family. It's the right time for us to collectively resolve to once again bring back India's lost glory, to once again make India a superpower, to once again make the world stand up and acknowledge that it is India's century. The 21st century is India's century. And we'll all work together to make this the best country in the world, the country of the future, the country that the world will see and acknowledge as owner's pride, neighbor's envy. All the very best to all of you on the happy occasion of Raksha Bandhan. Thank you very much.